This Farm Show on 100.5 and 790 News Radio WSGW and online WSGW.com.
Hey, mostly cloudy good morning to you. At least if you're here in the Great Lakes Bay region, other parts of the state, it's a mostly snowy or slight drizzly or mostly sunny good morning to you. We're having the full spectrum of December weather here this morning around Michigan. Jonathan Dent sitting in for Terry Henne today. Terry will be back with us tomorrow. But in the meantime, we'll take a look at what's going on around the state and on the markets. Market report is coming up. But in terms of the weather, we've got another pretty average December day in store for us here. A low pressure system is moving across, and that might drive a little bit of wintry precipitation that we're seeing, especially kind of to the south of us a little ways, but not too much here in the immediate area. We didn't really see anything in terms of precipitation yesterday. Early morning, maybe 1/100th of an inch here in the Great Lakes Bay region, with a very small amount of that being snow, just trace amounts there. 39 was our high in the afternoon, and we didn't drop too far down for a low, only 31 degrees overnight. Right now, what we're looking at out at the airport, 36 degrees. Downtown Midland's looking at 35. Here at Radio Center, 34 degrees. Winds out of the north-northeast. Very slight, though, 3 miles per hour. We've got calm winds reporting elsewhere, and our barometric pressure is rising right now, 30.05. Pretty calm. Don't expect to see any gusty winds over the next 48 hours or so, but those winds are shifting as that low pressure system that I mentioned is moving across to the south of us. We started out with those winds actually coming out of the south, and those are shifting to be more out of the northeast now, and it'll be out of the north by the end of the day today. Cloudy skies pretty much all day long, a high of 36. Don't expect to see too much in the way of precipitation, as I mentioned. Maybe a snow shower here or there. That'll mostly be to the southern part of the state, and they do expect to see a little bit of that in the upper peninsula actually later on. If you're out in the thumb, you might see some remnant of snow showers as well, especially if you're further to the east, some of that lake effect. Still, though, it'll be pretty light if you do see any precipitation. Tonight, those light winds continue to shift, a low of 25 overnight under cloudy skies. They'll thin out as we get into the early morning hours tomorrow. We start off tomorrow with partly cloudy skies, then some more clouds roll in, becoming mostly cloudy, a high of 37 degrees, with those winds shifting to be out of the west as that low pressure system continues to make its way out to the east with that counterclockwise circulation. We see a high pressure system pushing across the Iowa-Missouri area, starting to go into that area right now, and then overnight and into tomorrow. That could bring a few snow showers into the region as we get into tomorrow night. We'll be hovering right around that freezing mark overnight Wednesday as southwest winds pick up a little bit. Our temperatures start to climb again as we get into Thursday, a high of about 46 as the clouds clear out over the day and then return in the overnight hours, so we won't drop down too far, around 38 for a low on Thursday night. Making way for a cloudy, but in the grand scheme of things, pretty warm Friday, well above average, getting up to about 52 degrees overnight Friday. And then as we make our way on into Saturday, we see a chance for some rain developing. We'll hover in that low to mid 40 degree range during that time. Saturday night, that rain will continue and even pick up a little bit, but we drop down into the mid 30s. And we won't warm up that much on Sunday, as there's a good possibility of seeing some rain, maybe some snow mix as we make our way through Sunday, especially into the evening hours, and maybe a little bit of snow in the morning on Monday as we drop down to closer to average temperatures. Average temperatures for this time of year, 38 for a high, 26 for a low. As we take a look through our long-range forecast, that takes us well past the middle of December here, December 18th, above average on the temperatures, below average precipitation. Our record high for this date, wow, already December 5th. Back in 2001, December 5th, it was a high of 67 degrees. Our record low, 6 degrees. That was set back in 1926, tied again in 1991. The sun will set this evening at 5 o'clock sharp, rise tomorrow morning at 7:54, as those days are starting to get a little bit longer. So we've got a little bit longer, at least here in mid-Michigan, without precipitation. A little ways south of us, quite a ways north of us, up in the Upper Peninsula, you might be experiencing some precipitation here throughout the day today. Got about, well, we'll get through today, mostly dry. Tomorrow, we start to see a little bit of chances for some showers, but especially as we move on into the weekend, Saturday and Sunday, that'll be our next biggest chance to see any sort of precipitation, and it'll be more than likely rain, maybe mixed with a little bit of snow. So we'll take a look at our weather a little bit more as we move through the broadcast. Coming up, though, we'll start off our market report talking with Abby Terwilliger with the Andersons. Then we'll head over to Oppenheimer as usual and talk with Doug Klein. All of that's ahead, but the weather report today brought to you by the folks at Nutrien Ag Solutions.
Nutrien Ag Solutions has the local expertise to recommend the corn, soybean, and other seed products that are the best fit for your field. Plus, unparalleled agronomic support with products and services to unlock yield potential and improve crop performance from planting to harvest. Ask about our financing options to help you get more from every acre and lead the field. Visit your local Nutrien Ag Solutions branch or go to nutrienagsolutions.com.
They say there's a secret to growing a great crop. At Nutrien Ag Solutions, they beg to differ. It all starts with a strong foundation, and when it comes to fertilizer, there's no question that Titan XE drives dry fertilizer performance. They've been unlocking the potential in every prill of dry fertilizer with biocatalyst technology for over a decade. Visit lpi.ag/Titan or contact your Nutrien Ag Solutions crop consultant to drive your crop's potential today. Service brought to you today by the folks at Steiner Tractor Parts. New parts for old tractors made easy. So simple. All you have to do is call 800-234-3280 or go to steinertractor.com. Remember, they share your enthusiasm for your antique machine, and they know that you want to keep it running. That's why they take their job personally at Steiner Tractor Parts, because they understand your life and job both stop if your tractor stops running. Want to make that unit look really sharp this coming summer? Show it off a little bit at the shows? You can do that. Steiner Tractor. For more information, go to steinertractor.com.
Now for a little bit of information on what's going on in the markets, we say good morning to Abby Terwilliger from the Andersons. Abby, how are we doing today?
Hi, good morning. Doing good. Just on my way home from Louisville, went to the National Seed and Grain Country Elevator Conference.
Very interesting. What kind of things do they talk about there?
There's a lot of talk about transportation, the issues that they're having in the Panama Canal with water levels, as well as the rivers here in the U.S. And then also there was a lot of other information for elevators on equipment and stuff like that.
Important stuff to keep track of. Well, last time I took a look at our numbers for today, we kind of continued the trend that we saw yesterday. What's going on?
Right now we are at $3.97 for corn. Beans were at $12.31. Red wheat, if you have some, is at $5.11, and white wheat at $5.76. I had heard that there was a big sale of wheat to China yesterday, one of the biggest ones in the last couple of years. Even though they've been saying that they've had record yields, I'm wondering if they have not great quality.
All right. Is anything else driving that? That kind of explains the wheat. What's going on with the soy heading downward? Or is that just kind of this time of year?
Yeah, the time of year. I haven't been able to look at too many reports here today with just getting out of the conference and trying to get back to Michigan.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, no, just time of year. The report, the WASD report, is coming out on Friday at noon.
Okay.
So it could be in preparation for that.
Absolutely. Something to keep our eyes on. Well, Abby, thank you very much. We'll talk again next week.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Abby Terwilliger with the Andersons. For a little bit more on what's going on in the markets, we head over to Oppenheimer and we talk with Doug Klein. Doug, good morning.
Good morning. How you doing?
I'm doing all right. What's going on today?
Well, Markets are kind of sort of mixed today. The stock market kind of feels like it's getting a little pricey. So I don't know what's going on, but like I said, the Dow Jones is up 0.30, but the S&P is flat, and the Nasdaq's up just about 0.15. So you can see where there's mixed emotions there. The job openings came in at 8.7 million. That's the lowest it's been in 33 months. So that kind of correlates with the Fed raising interest rates too much and choking off our economy in that way. Wells Fargo is going to do a big layoff this quarter, and they're going to take $1 billion charge to fire those people. I think it would have been cheaper not to hire them in the first place, but who am I to say? So that's a big thing, a corporation taking a big charge like that. What else is going on? Oh, I see that 24,000 Chinese individuals came across the Mexican border this year so far. That's more than the last 10 years combined. So interesting development there. But I saw a picture, and they look like they're young, ready to work individuals. So they're not actually coming over here for social welfare or anything like that. Well, who knows? Anyway, so here's your numbers. The March corn is 486 and a quarter, up 3/4 of a penny. The July corn is 506 and a quarter, up a half a penny. The March soybeans 1321, down 5.5. July soybeans 1344 and a half, down 5 3/4. March wheat is 623 3/4, up 3 1/4, and the July wheat is 645, up 1.5. Crude oil is 73.56, up 24 cents. The heating oil is 265.48, down a half a penny. Gasoline is 213.61, that's up 0.2 of a penny, and natural gas 274 is down up 4.5 cents. Over to currencies, Canadian dollar. U.S. dollar buys $1.3575 Canadian. That's up 38 ticks. The dollar buys 147.29 yen. That's up 9 ticks. The euro's at 107.86. That's down 50 ticks. The dollar's at 103.98. That's up 27 ticks. Now gold is continuing down a little bit. 2018.30. That's down $5.80, and it's about 115 bucks off its high that it hit overnight yesterday. So that's a violent market. Silver's 24.14, down 41 cents, and platinum's at 9.03, down 22 bucks.
So when we see those big jumps in precious metals, does that tell us anything, or is that just kind of, oh, that's weird?
It's extremely manipulated, extremely manipulated. So, there is individuals buying, of course, but it's a lot of bank buying. Central banks around the world do this at the very worst time. Typically, they'll buy when the prices are extremely high because they want to protect their sovereign reserves or whatever, and then they'll sell it when it hits a low because they failed in their strategy. So, I mean, that's a good indicator when to buy and when to sell. And right now is, like I said, the banks are buying, the big banks are buying. So,
all right. Well,
I don't know.
We'll check in again tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly.
Thanks, Doug. You have a good one.
Yeah.
Doug Klein with Oppenheimer. Back with more in just a moment.
Like you, we never settle. There's more sugar, in fact, better sugar in every seed we sell. For more than a century, we put innovation to work in the service of growers who plant Crystal brand sugar beet seed. With varieties developed especially for your growing area, you can be confident your success is always our top priority. This season, and for seasons to come, choose a seed partner who shares your priorities.
This is Jeff Karst, your ACH Seeds independent sales agent. Our 2024 lineup is looking great. We have 5 new CR Plus varieties, including 2 that have been in nematode tolerance. This next generation of Crystal sugar beet varieties provides even better sugar content and the full spectrum of defensive traits you need. The field-proven advantages of the CR Plus trait continue to allow confidence of good disease control with fewer trips across the field. I look forward to hearing from you and working toward continued success. Thanks again for partnering with ACH Seeds.
ACH Seeds, growing with you.
If you ever wondered how the Farmall got its name, well, here's an abbreviated list of some of the jobs that the Case IH Farmall can do for you: baling, feeding, loading, raking, fertilizing, chopping, seeding, clearing, irrigating, cultivating, hitching, digging, emergency towing, harrowing, hoisting, leading parades, excavating. You kind of get the idea. Case IH Farmall tractors range from 35 to 140 horsepower, and at Weiss Equipment in Frankenmuth, they know that getting the job done right starts with choosing the right Farmall. That's why they carry a wide range of Case IH Compact Farmall Series tractors, so you'll find the right fit for your operation. From the Value Pack Compact Farmall A Series to the Deluxe Compact Farmall C and C Series with cabs. So let's make it simple. This tractor does it all. So no matter what you're doing, Can Do comes in red. Farmall. Learn more at caseih.com or Weiss Equipment in Frankenmuth, doing it right longer.
Let's head on over to Bay Landscaping and Garden Center now, and that's where we find Jerry Samolsky. Jerry, we're talking about pruning this week. What do you got for us?
Again, I don't think a lot of people fully understand how to prune and maintain and care for trees. So, Jonathan, I want to ask you a question. When you have a branch that's 5 feet off the ground, and if it grows a foot a year, in 5 years from now, how tall will that branch be?
It'll be 10 feet off the ground, right?
Wrong.
No.
It'll still be 5 feet off the ground.
Yep, because trees grow from the top, don't they?
Yes, that's right. So when you have trees and they're bumping your head on it with the mower and everything else, you need to be limbing those trees up. And so when you're cutting a tree and trimming a branch, you can cut as big a branch as you want. Just like in the hospital, they can cut you from stem to stern and do a major procedure and put you back. You'd prefer not to do that. So you'd prefer a little arthroscopic or maybe a little needle poke, and that's a lot better. So when we're cutting trees, the smaller the cuts we make, the better it is for the tree, the faster it heals, and the less possibility for decay and rot down the road. So again, when those branches are bumping in the head, and when you buy the tree in the nursery and that tree is 12 feet tall, and eventually that first branch you're going to have is 12 feet up. So guess what? Every branch in that tree you'll probably end up cutting off when you buy it. So you just want a healthy tree, and you want to keep trimming those branches up as they require. And don't wait till they're as big around as your waist. Maybe just a couple inch in diameter, and start limbing it up at that point. There's also the thing where you can bring it up too fast. So bring it up slowly as the tree grows. 1/3 trunk, 2/3 top is a good rule of thumb. So again, trimming is a lot more than just it's hitting my head, cut it off as high as you can reach and call it quits. You should cut them off right to the trunk and keep those main branches coming out, going up over time.
So small cuts early and plan ahead.
There you go, because those branches will never get any taller than where they are today.
Absolutely. Sounds good. Jerry, thank you so much. We'll talk again tomorrow.
Very good, Jonathan.
Jerry Samolsky with Bay Landscaping and Garden Center. We'll talk with Craig Voorhees from the Rummel Agency after this.
Are you ready to be shocked? I'm Steve Cook from Cook Chevrolet Ambassador. Let me repeat. Are you ready to be shocked? Here goes. This month, despite what people are thinking after the great new contract between the UAW and GM, lease payments on new Chevrolets have not gone up. In fact, they've gone down dramatically. At Cook Chevrolet, the starting lease payment on Chevy Equinoxes has dropped a full $52 a month, down to $226. And can you believe this? The Chevy Silverado lease has dropped an incredible $110 a month, down to only $299. And Blazers are now only $291. The chips are back, the pandemic is history, and the strike is over. It's a buyer's market again. Get out today to Cook Chevrolet, M15 Top of the Hill Ambassador. Equinoxes $226, Blazers $291, and Silverados now only $299.
Payments based on GM employee and family lease. 10,000 miles per year and includes all rebates. 2,000 cash or trade down. Chevy, find new roads.
Simply the best. For 45 years, one name has been synonymous with the best soybean genetics: Stein. With Stein, growers have the benefit of leveraging decades of knowledge from our talented agronomy and sales teams and hundreds of agronomic experts across the country. Trust in 45 years of performance and plant Stein seed with confidence. Stein has yield, 45 years of yield. Learn more at steinseed.com.
Farm Service brought to you today by the folks at Kryjak's House Family Restaurant. If you've got to supply the food for an event coming up, and there's a lot of them I know, and you've got to supply the food, here's the number, 989-894-5531. You give them a call, tell them what you want, they'll prepare it, have it ready for you, take it back to your event, and you will be a hero at your event. Kryjak's House, also a great place to dine in, corner of Cass in Michigan, on Bay City's south side.
Let's head over to the Rummel Agency. That's where we find Craig Voorhees this morning. Craig, good morning.
Good morning, Jonathan.
So we're starting to look ahead at next year. Believe it or not, we're already starting off or December at least. I'm not getting too far ahead of myself. What do guys need to know before getting ready to plant for next year?
Right, Jonathan. A lot of planning going on right now for next year. All the inputs are being decided. And one of the questions we often ask our customers this time of year is, what is your payroll going to look like for the next 12 months for the work comp policy? It's a little bit of a crystal ball question for some folks. Some can give us a definitive answer and others cannot. But take your best guess. And fortunately, there's a built-in audit at the end of the policy. So if you guessed too high, and therefore you paid too much on your work comp policy, you'll get money back. If you went too low, the opposite happens and you get to pay a bill at the end of the policy term. But, take a good look at your books and try to factor in any pay increases that you're anticipating for the next 12 months and give it your best shot when that question comes up.
So when you're making those estimations, obviously you want to try and hit close to what you're looking at, but is it better to look maybe above, give yourself a little bit of a buffer there, or do you want to be a little bit more conservative with your estimates?
Really depends on your cash flow situation. I've got some customers that prefer to be on the low side and would rather pay one lump sum bill at the end, and I've got others who would rather try to manage it a little closer and try to come as close as they can so that they don't have to pay a little big bill at the end, and they don't get a big refund either. So it's personal preference on that one.
Sounds good, Craig. Thank you very much. You have a good one.
Thanks, Jonathan. You too.
Craig Voorhees with the Rummel Agency. We'll take a look at what's going on the New York markets after this.
Ever wonder what deja vu sounds like? Yeah, something like that, because that's the sound of Dairyland Seed delivering the greatest soybeans in our history. Again, this year's lineup, led by Dairyland Seed and List E3 soybeans, brings even better agronomic characteristics, even tougher weed control, and even higher yield potential. And once again, they're proven to outperform the competition in independent head-to-head trials. See the latest soybean performance results at showmethesoybeanyield.com. That's showmethesoybeanyield.com.
Farm Service brought to you today by the folks at Quality Roasting of Reese, purchasing local soybeans, processing the local beans, and marketing local Exceller meal, which is a high bypass soybean meal for your dairy herd. They've been doing that since 1991. Quality Roasting of Reese, offering competitive, consistent prices for your soybeans. Give them a call for a quote today.
Before it's too late and white mold becomes a problem, you need to ask your seed dealer for Heads Up seed treatment. When raising soybeans in the Midwest, you know the risk of being caught unprepared. As heard on Ag PhD, there are several steps you can take prior to planting for a successful management plan against white mold. Compatible and cost-effective season-long protection starts now by asking your seed dealer to apply Heads Up to your bean seed order. For more information, visit headsupst.com.
Time to find out what's going on in New York, and for that, we head over to Baird & Company, where we find Steve Anderson. Steve, good morning.
And good morning to you, Jonathan.
What are we looking at today?
Well, we got some red ink going here today with the Dow Jones Industrial Average down at just about 157 points, putting it at 36,047. Volume there is 300 million shares. The NASDAQ is down by 1 point at 14,184. Volume of 452 million shares. Locally, we've got Caterpillar 255.50, up 75. Deere 362.29, up down 664. CMS 5746 down 87. Dow 5135 down 75. DuPont 7104 down 72. Corteva 4444 down 78. GM 3315 up 8. Trinzio is 605 down 27. Walmart 155.02 up 72. Huntington Bank 1166 down 11. Independent Bank 2280 down 8. And AT&T is up 45 at 1711.
Well, Terry left me behind to hear the bad news, didn't he? I guess it'll be back up tomorrow.
Well, he'll be back, right?
Yeah, he'll be back.
All right, so that's probably it.
Yep, sounds good. Steve, thank you very much. You have a good one.
You're very welcome. You take care, too.
All right, Steve Anderson with Baird & Company.
Did it go okay when your insurance agent sat down with you to review the coverage checklist for your farm so you wouldn't have to worry about uncovered areas? You have reviewed your coverages lately, right? If not, maybe your agency should be the Emil Rummel Agency. At the Emil Rummel Agency, it's our job to understand the various risks you face every day on your farm, and then provide you with the right insurance policy that is based on your needs. If your current insurance agent is not offering this kind of service, it's time you talked with the Emil Rummel Agency, because we listen and then we respond to what we hear. The Emil Rummel Agency is located in Frankenmuth, Vassar, Caro, and in Saginaw. Call us today at 800-572-0939. That's 800-572-0939. Or visit us on the web at rummelinsurance.com.
Farm Service is being brought to you by Freeland Bean and Grain. Getting ready for the planting season next year? It's not too early. All you got to do is give Certified Crop Advisor Vic Hupfer a call at Freeland Bean and Grain. He's got the answers to any questions you might have. Freeland Bean and Grain. Since 1983, where serving you is their business.
Once again, we're looking at a high of 36 for today, maybe a little bit of precipitation to the southern lower peninsula or even up in the upper peninsula, but it should miss most of the lower peninsula. We're seeing a little bit of that right now down south of us a little ways. 25 for a low overnight tonight, with most of that clearing up. Tomorrow, a high of 37, staying dry. Cloudy skies, though, dropping down to around 33 overnight Wednesday night, and we might see a little bit of precipitation there. Our best chance of snow or rain shows up with us Saturday night in through Sunday and even a little bit into Monday. We'll take a better look at the weather and the markets at the bottom of the hour, but for now we conclude with the playing of the national anthem.
From the premier kitchen and bath gallery